Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I'm delighted to have you all here. Today, we will explore GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or API, and this is just the first part of our discussion. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and I'm excited to guide you through this important topic. Over the course of this presentation, we'll cover the fundamentals of GMP, its significance in API manufacturing, and key aspects to ensure quality and compliance. Let's get started and make this an engaging learning experience for all of us. Welcome to this section on Introduction and Scope. Here, we'll discuss the importance of GMP, or good manufacturing practice, as an appropriate system for managing quality in the production of APIs. The goal is to ensure that APIs consistently meet quality and purity standards essential for safe and effective medicines. When we talk about APIs, or active pharmaceutical ingredients, we're referring to all operations involved in their life cycle. This includes receiving raw materials, manufacturing processes, packaging, repackaging, labeling, relabeling, quality control, releasing the product, and finally storage and distribution. All these steps need to be carried out under strict controls to ensure quality. It's important to note that this scope focuses on the manufacturing aspects and quality management. Safety for personnel or environmental protection, while critical, are not covered within this specific GMP framework. To emphasize, GMP for APIs, specifically in this part, sets out the standards to help us maintain control throughout the entire manufacturing process, ensuring that the APIs produced are of the highest quality and purity. This is fundamental for the overall safety and efficacy of the medicines we develop and supply. Welcome to this section on Introduction and Scope. Today, I'll be explaining the key points to set the foundation for our discussion on GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients. First, this guide applies specifically to the manufacture of APIs that are used in finished pharmaceutical products, or FPPs. It's important to note that sterilization and aseptic processing of sterile APIs are not covered here, so we're focusing on other aspects of API manufacturing. The scope of this guide includes APIs made through various processes: chemical synthesis, extraction, cell culture, fermentation, or recovery from natural sources. It also covers APIs produced by any combination of these methods. However, for this training, our main focus is on chemical synthesis. It's also crucial to understand what is excluded from this scope. Vaccines, whole cells, whole blood, plasma, and similar biological products are not covered here. Our focus remains on chemically synthesized APIs used in pharmaceuticals. This slide introduces the core theme of GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, emphasizing that this is part I of our training. Overall, these points help clarify what types of API manufacturing are covered under GMP regulations and what is outside the scope. This ensures we're all aligned as we move forward through the presentation. Let's start by discussing the introduction and scope of GMP, or good manufacturing practice, as it relates to active pharmaceutical ingredients. GMP is applied appropriately from the point where the API starting material is normally introduced into the process. This means that as soon as we begin working with the initial raw materials, GMP guidelines come into play to ensure quality and consistency. It's also important to highlight that GMP covers the validation of critical process steps. These are the steps that can significantly impact the quality of the final API. By validating these steps, we help ensure that each part of the process consistently produces a high-quality product. As we move through the manufacturing process, from early API steps to the final stages like purification and packaging, the stringency of GMP requirements increases. This makes sense because the closer we get to the finished product, the more critical it becomes to maintain strict controls. GMP isn't just about the chemical processes. It also applies to physical processing steps such as granulation and coating, as well as manipulation processes like milling and micronizing. These operations can introduce variability or contamination, so they must be carefully controlled under GMP. In summary, GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients is a comprehensive approach that starts right from the initial raw materials and extends through every step of manufacturing, especially as the process advances toward the final, purified, and packaged product. This ensures we deliver safe, effective, and high-quality APIs to patients. Let's take a closer look at what we mean by an API starting material. Essentially, it refers to any raw material, intermediate, or even an API itself that's used in the production of a final API. These starting materials are incorporated as significant structural fragments into the structure of the API, which means they play a crucial role in defining the final product's characteristics. An API starting material could be something you purchase from a supplier under a contract, or it might be produced in-house. It can also be an article of commerce, meaning it's readily available on the market. It's important to note that these starting materials usually have well-defined chemical properties and structures. This helps ensure consistency and quality throughout the manufacturing process. Additionally, the company must clearly designate and document the point at which the production of the API actually begins. This is vital for traceability and quality control, and it ties directly into our overall theme of good manufacturing practices, or GMP, which ensure the safety and efficacy of active pharmaceutical ingredients. Let's talk about quality management. Remember, quality is everyone's responsibility, not just the quality department. It's essential to establish, document, and implement an effective quality management system, or QMS. This system should clearly define all quality-related activities and ensure they are well documented. The QMS needs to cover the organizational structure, procedures, processes, and resources, all critical to making sure our APIs meet the required specifications. We also need dedicated quality units, which handle quality assurance and quality control. These units must operate independently from production to maintain objectivity and integrity. Additionally, it's important to have clearly identified authorized persons who are responsible for releasing intermediates and APIs, ensuring only approved products move forward. Overall, a robust GMP framework for active pharmaceutical ingredients is vital. It supports consistent quality and compliance, which ultimately safeguards patient health and maintains trust in our products. Let's talk about quality management and how it plays a crucial role in ensuring the safety and efficacy of our active pharmaceutical ingredients. First, it's essential that all activities are recorded at the time of action. This helps us maintain a clear and accurate record of what was done, when, and by whom, which is vital for traceability and accountability. Any deviations from established procedures must be documented and thoroughly explained. When an unexpected event occurs, we investigate critical deviations to understand the root cause. This step is key to preventing recurrence and improving our processes. Before materials are used, they are released by quality control, or QU. It's important to note that materials released under quarantine are not the norm and are typically only used when approved for use, as outlined in Section 10.2. Communication is also a critical aspect of quality management. We need to inform management promptly about significant events such as regulatory inspections, serious GMP deficiencies, product defects, or issues like quality-related complaints, recalls, and other regulatory actions. Keeping everyone informed ensures swift and appropriate responses. All these elements, recording activities, investigating deviations, proper material release, and timely communication, together form the foundation of good manufacturing practice for active pharmaceutical ingredients. They help us maintain high standards and ensure the quality of our products throughout the process. Let's talk about change control. A formal change control system is essential for maintaining quality and consistency, especially in pharmaceutical manufacturing. This system is typically documented in a written standard operating procedure, or SOP, and it covers both production and control processes. When we talk about change control, we're referring to the identification, documentation, review, and approval of any changes that might impact the product. These changes can include a wide range of areas such as raw materials, specifications, analytical methods, facilities, support systems, equipment, including computer hardware, processing steps, as well as labeling, packaging materials, and computer software. It's important that these changes are not made arbitrarily. Instead, they need to be drafted, reviewed, and approved by the relevant units within the organization, and ultimately, they must be approved by Quality Assurance, or QU. This layered review process helps ensure that changes are properly evaluated before implementation. A critical part of change control is evaluating the potential impact of these changes. We have a classification procedure to determine what level of testing, validation, and documentation is necessary to justify the change, especially when it involves a validated process. This helps us maintain the integrity and quality of the product. And speaking of quality, this process ties into good manufacturing practices for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. Ensuring proper change control is fundamental to maintaining GMP compliance and ultimately delivering safe and effective medicines. Let's talk about change control, specifically focusing on minor and major changes. When we make any changes to the manufacturing process or the product, it's crucial to understand how these modifications can impact the final product. Changes can also affect the related documentation, so it's essential to revise and update all relevant records accordingly. Additionally, it's important to evaluate the initial batches that are produced or tested under these new conditions. This helps us confirm that the changes haven't compromised the quality or performance of the active pharmaceutical ingredient. In cases where critical changes are involved, especially those that influence established retest dates or expiry dates, we may need to implement an accelerated stability program. This allows us to quickly assess whether the product remains stable under the new process. Finally, whenever there are changes from the established production or process control procedures, it's vital to inform the manufacturers of the current dosage form. This ensures they understand how these modifications could impact the quality of the API, maintaining transparency and quality assurance throughout the supply chain. Let's talk about complaints and recalls. It's essential that all quality-related complaints are properly recorded and investigated according to our standard operating procedures. When a complaint comes in, we need to document several key details. First, the name and address of the complainant so we can follow up if needed. We also record their name and, if applicable, their title and telephone number. Understanding the nature of the complaint is crucial, including the specific API involved, like the name and batch number. We also note the date we received the complaint to keep track of timelines. Additionally, we document what action was initially taken, including the dates and the person responsible for that action. If there's any follow-up, we record what was done and when. Once a response is prepared, we ensure it's communicated to the complainant, noting the date the response was sent. Finally, we document the final decision regarding the batch or lot of the API involved, whether it's a recall, further investigation, or other measures. This process is vital for maintaining product quality and safety, and it ties directly into our overall GMP approach for active pharmaceutical ingredients. Proper complaint management helps us identify potential issues early and take appropriate action to protect patients and ensure regulatory compliance. Let's move on to the topic of complaints and recalls. First, it's essential that we keep detailed complaint records. By doing so, we can evaluate trends, especially focusing on product-related frequencies and severity. This helps us identify any potential issues early on and take additional or immediate actions when necessary. Next, having a written procedure is crucial. This procedure clearly defines the circumstances under which a recall of an intermediate or active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API, should be considered. It provides a structured approach to handling such situations. The recall procedure itself specifies several key elements. It designates responsible people who will oversee the process, explains how a recall should be initiated, and clarifies who needs to be informed about the recall to ensure proper communication. It also details how the recalled material should be treated, whether it's quarantine, rework, or disposal. In cases of serious or potentially life-threatening situations, it's important to notify the authorities immediately. Timely communication can be critical in protecting public health. Finally, this all falls under the broader GMP guidelines for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. Ensuring these procedures are in place and followed helps us maintain the highest standards of quality and safety throughout the manufacturing process. Now, let's take a closer look at the responsibilities of the quality unit, or units. These responsibilities are clearly defined in writing, and it's important to note that the main responsibilities cannot be delegated to others. The quality unit is involved in all quality-related matters, ensuring a consistent oversight throughout the process. One of their key roles is to review and approve all relevant quality documents. This includes standard operating procedures, specifications, and master production instructions. Basically, the critical documents that guide production and quality control. They also hold the authority to release or reject raw materials, intermediates, and packaging materials. This means they are responsible for ensuring only quality materials move forward in the process. Similarly, they review completed records, such as batch records and laboratory controls, to verify everything was conducted properly. Another vital aspect is investigating and resolving any critical deviations that occur during manufacturing. This helps maintain the integrity of the process and ensures product quality at every stage. All these responsibilities highlight how central the quality unit is in maintaining compliance with good manufacturing practice, or GMP, especially for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. Their role is essential in safeguarding the quality and safety of the medicines we rely on. Now, let's take a closer look at the responsibilities of the quality unit, or units. Their role is crucial in maintaining the integrity of our manufacturing process and ensuring compliance. First, they are responsible for ensuring that self-inspections are performed regularly. This helps us identify potential issues early and maintain high standards. They also need to approve intermediate and API contract manufacturers, which means they evaluate and validate the capabilities of our partners to guarantee quality throughout the supply chain. Additionally, they approve any quality-impacting changes, ensuring that modifications do not compromise product safety or efficacy. Another key responsibility is reviewing and approving validation protocols and reports. This step is vital because it confirms that our processes are reliable, consistent, and compliant with regulatory standards. The quality unit also oversees investigations into quality-related complaints, ensuring these issues are thoroughly examined and resolved promptly. This is essential for continuous improvement and patient safety. Lastly, they ensure that there are effective systems in place for maintaining and calibrating critical equipment. Proper calibration is fundamental to ensuring our processes remain accurate and compliant. All of these responsibilities come together to support GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, ensuring that every step upholds the highest quality standards. Now, let's look at the key responsibilities of the quality unit. First, it's essential that they ensure materials are appropriately tested. This means verifying that every batch meets the required quality standards before moving forward. They also need to make sure that the results from these tests are accurately reported, providing transparency and traceability. Next, the quality unit must confirm that we have solid stability data. This data supports our decisions on retest or expiry dates, as well as storage conditions. Essentially, they help us ensure that the product remains effective and safe throughout its shelf life. Another critical responsibility is performing product quality reviews. These reviews are vital for continuous quality assurance, allowing us to identify any issues early and implement corrective actions. All of these responsibilities tie back to our overall goal of maintaining high-quality active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. Especially in the context of GMP, or good manufacturing practices, the quality unit plays a pivotal role in safeguarding product integrity. So, in summary, their duties are integral to ensuring that every batch of API we produce is safe, effective, and compliant with regulatory standards. Now, let's look at the responsibility for production activities. First, it's essential to prepare, review, approve, and distribute detailed production instructions. These instructions are the backbone of consistent and compliant manufacturing. Producing APIs and intermediates must follow pre-approved instructions to ensure quality and regulatory compliance. Next, reviewing production batch records is a critical step. We need to verify that all records are complete and signed off, confirming that the process was followed correctly. This ensures traceability and accountability throughout production. Reporting and evaluating production deviations is equally important. When deviations occur, they must be properly documented, and critical deviations should be thoroughly investigated. Recording the conclusions of these investigations helps us prevent future issues and maintain product integrity. Lastly, maintaining cleanliness and disinfecting the production facilities is vital. Clean environments reduce contamination risks and support the overall quality of the APIs. All these points tie into the broader theme of GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, emphasizing how careful oversight and adherence to procedures are fundamental to producing safe, effective medicines. Now, let's look at some of the key responsibilities involved in ensuring good manufacturing practice for active pharmaceutical ingredients. First, it's crucial to make sure that all calibration activities are properly conducted and that detailed records are maintained. This helps us verify that equipment is functioning correctly and consistently. Next, we must ensure the ongoing maintenance of both the premises and the equipment. Regular upkeep is essential to prevent any contamination or equipment failure that could impact product quality. Another important aspect is the review and approval of validation protocols and reports. This process guarantees that all processes meet the necessary standards and are validated before production. Additionally, when there are proposed changes, whether they involve the product, the process, or the equipment, they need to be carefully evaluated. This helps us understand any potential impacts on quality and compliance. Finally, qualifying new facilities or equipment, and when appropriate, modifying existing ones, is a key step. Proper qualification ensures that everything is installed and operates correctly, maintaining the integrity of our manufacturing process. All of these activities are interconnected and vital for maintaining control over the production of active pharmaceutical ingredients and ensuring their quality and safety. Let's talk about internal audits, or self-inspection, which are a crucial part of maintaining quality and compliance. Companies should conduct these audits regularly to ensure everything is functioning as it should. It's important to follow a set SOP and schedule so that audits are consistent and thorough. During these audits, findings should be documented clearly, along with any corrective actions needed. It's essential that these issues are brought to the attention of the responsible management team promptly. Once corrective actions are agreed upon, they need to be completed in a timely and effective manner to close the loop and improve processes. All of this ties into the broader GMP framework for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, which we'll explore further. Internal audits help us identify gaps, enforce accountability, and ultimately ensure the quality of our products. Let's talk about the product quality review process. Typically, these reviews are conducted regularly, such as once a year, to ensure that our processes remain consistent and reliable. During these reviews, we look at several key areas. First, we examine critical in-process control data and critical API test results to verify that everything is within the established specifications. We also review any batches that failed to meet these specifications, so we can understand what went wrong and prevent future issues. Another important aspect is investigating any critical deviations or nonconformances. We look into these thoroughly to identify root causes and implement effective corrective actions. We also review any changes made to the manufacturing processes or analytical methods, ensuring they haven't compromised product quality. Monitoring stability is another critical component. We analyze the results from our stability monitoring program to confirm that the product remains stable throughout its shelf life. Additionally, we evaluate quality-related returns, customer complaints, and recalls to identify any recurring issues or trends that need addressing. Ultimately, the goal of this review is to assess whether our quality systems are effective. We evaluate all these results to determine if corrective actions are needed, or if revalidation is necessary to maintain the integrity of our processes. This comprehensive review helps us uphold high standards and continuously improve our quality management system. Now, let's talk about the importance of regular training. It's essential that our personnel undergoes ongoing training that covers key areas like operations and good manufacturing practice, or GMP. This training shouldn't be a one-time event. It needs to be periodic, with assessments to ensure understanding and compliance. Keeping thorough training records is crucial because it provides documented proof that our staff is properly trained and that their skills are up to date. Moving on to personnel, having an adequate number of qualified, trained, and experienced staff is fundamental to maintaining quality and compliance. It's also important that everyone has clear written responsibilities, often outlined in job descriptions, so each person knows what is expected of them. All these elements come together to form a solid foundation for GMP compliance when producing active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. Ensuring continuous training, proper record keeping, and clear responsibilities helps us maintain high standards and support the overall quality of our products. Let's talk about personnel hygiene, which is a crucial part of maintaining quality and safety in our manufacturing environment. Practicing good sanitation and health habits helps prevent contamination and ensures product integrity. Wearing clean clothing is essential, and it's important to change when necessary, especially if you get dirty or after specific tasks. When required, don't forget to include covers for your head, face, hands, and arms to minimize the risk of introducing contaminants. Avoid direct contact with intermediates or active pharmaceutical ingredients. This is vital for maintaining their purity. Also, remember that smoking, eating, drinking, or chewing while working can lead to contamination, so these activities should be strictly avoided in the production areas. Food storage should be limited to designated areas only to prevent any accidental contamination of the APIs. Additionally, if you have any infectious diseases or open lesions, it's best to refrain from working in the production environment until properly healed to protect both the product and your colleagues. All these practices are part of the GMP, good manufacturing practices, for active pharmaceutical ingredients, which we're emphasizing here. This slide underscores the importance of personnel hygiene as a fundamental aspect of maintaining high-quality standards in our manufacturing process. Let's talk about consultants. It's essential that they have sufficient education, training, and experience to perform their roles effectively. We need to ensure that their qualifications match the responsibilities they undertake. Additionally, keeping detailed records is vital. These records should include their name, address, qualifications, and the specific type of service provided. This transparency helps maintain accountability and quality standards. Moving on to GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, this forms a crucial part of our overall quality assurance framework. Specifically, in Part I of the GMP guidelines, these principles guide us in ensuring that APIs are manufactured consistently and to high-quality standards. All of these elements, qualified consultants, thorough record-keeping, and strict GMP adherence, are interconnected and vital for maintaining the integrity of our pharmaceutical products. Today, we're going to start discussing GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, and this will be Part I of our overview. GMP, or good manufacturing practice, is essential to ensure that APIs are produced consistently and meet quality standards. When it comes to APIs, the quality directly impacts the safety and efficacy of the final pharmaceutical product. This slide highlights the key points you need to understand about GMP for APIs. We'll explore how these practices help maintain product integrity from raw materials all the way through manufacturing. Remember, implementing GMP isn't just about compliance. It's about safeguarding patient health by ensuring that every batch of API is produced to the highest standards. So, as we go through this, keep in mind how these principles fit into the broader picture of pharmaceutical quality and regulatory expectations. When we look at buildings and facilities, it's crucial that their design and construction are tailored to support proper cleaning, maintenance, and operations. This means creating spaces that make it easy to keep everything sterile and functioning smoothly. We also want to minimize the risk of contamination, which involves limiting exposure to objectionable microbiological contaminants where it makes sense to do so. Adequate space is another key factor. It helps ensure that equipment and materials are stored in an organized way, preventing mix-ups and reducing contamination risks. Sometimes, closed or contained systems can even be located outdoors, provided they're properly designed to maintain integrity and safety. All of these elements tie back to the broader principles of good manufacturing practices for active pharmaceutical ingredients. When we design facilities with these considerations in mind, we're helping to ensure the quality and safety of the final product. Now, let's talk about the design and construction of buildings and facilities for GMP. It's crucial that we carefully plan the flow of materials and personnel to prevent mix-ups or contamination. To achieve this, we establish clearly defined areas or control systems for different stages of the process. For example, we have designated zones for receipt, identification, sampling, and quarantine of incoming materials, with specific procedures for pending release or rejection. Similarly, quarantine areas are set up for intermediates and APIs before they are either released or rejected. We also create dedicated spaces for sampling of intermediates and APIs, as well as separate zones for released and rejected materials. Production operations, packaging and labeling, and laboratory activities each have their own controlled areas as well. All of these measures are essential to maintaining the integrity of the manufacturing process, ensuring product quality, and complying with GMP standards. By carefully designing these workflows and physical spaces, we help prevent cross-contamination and keep the entire process running smoothly from start to finish. Let's start by discussing the premises essential for GMP compliance in active pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturing. First, it's crucial to have adequate and clean washing and toilet facilities. These should be separate from the manufacturing areas, but still easily accessible to ensure hygiene and prevent contamination. Next, laboratory areas and operations need to be separated from the production areas. This separation helps maintain the integrity of laboratory testing and prevents cross-contamination. Additionally, in-process controls, which are vital for monitoring quality during production, can be conveniently located within the production areas themselves. It's also important to ensure that the production process does not adversely affect laboratory measurements. This means controlling environmental factors and processes so that lab results remain accurate. Conversely, laboratory operations should not negatively impact the production process. Maintaining this balance is key to consistent quality and compliance with GMP standards. All of these premises form the foundation for a robust quality system, ensuring that the manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, is both effective and compliant with regulatory expectations. Now, let's talk about sanitation and maintenance. It's essential that our buildings are properly maintained and repaired, and that they are kept clean at all times. This isn't just about appearance. It's about ensuring a safe and compliant environment for manufacturing our active pharmaceutical ingredients. We also need to have written procedures for sanitation. These should clearly describe the cleaning schedules, methods, and the types of equipment and materials used for cleaning the buildings and facilities. Having these procedures documented helps ensure consistency and thoroughness in our cleaning processes. In addition, we must have written procedures for the proper use of pest control agents like rodenticides, insecticides, fungicides, fumigating agents, and sanitizing agents. It's crucial that these substances are used correctly to prevent contamination. This means applying them in a way that doesn't compromise equipment, raw materials, packaging, labeling materials, intermediates, or the APIs themselves. Overall, maintaining a clean and well-maintained environment is fundamental to GMP compliance and to producing high-quality active pharmaceutical ingredients. It's about integrating sanitation into the overall quality system, ensuring every step is controlled and documented. Let's talk about lighting first. It's crucial to ensure that all areas are adequately lit. Proper lighting not only helps staff see clearly, but also makes cleaning, maintenance, and day-to-day operations more efficient and safe. Good lighting reduces errors and helps maintain the cleanliness standards we aim for. Now, moving on to waste management. This includes sewage, refuse, and other byproducts from manufacturing processes. These can be solids, liquids, or even gaseous substances. It's vital that we dispose of these wastes in a safe, timely, and sanitary manner to prevent contamination and ensure compliance with safety standards. To facilitate this, containers and pipes used for waste should be clearly identified. Clear labeling helps everyone understand what each container or pipe is for, reducing the risk of mix-ups and ensuring proper handling. This is a key part of good manufacturing practices, especially when it comes to active pharmaceutical ingredients. All these points, lighting, waste management, and clear identification, are essential components of a well-controlled, compliant manufacturing environment. They support the overall goal of producing safe, high-quality pharmaceutical products. Let's talk about containment, which is a crucial aspect of manufacturing active pharmaceutical ingredients. When dealing with highly sensitizing materials like penicillins or cephalosporins, it's essential to use dedicated production areas, facilities, air handling systems, and process equipment. This helps prevent any cross-contamination and keeps the process safe for both the product and the personnel. Similarly, for materials that are infectious, highly pharmacologically active, or toxic, such as certain steroids or cytotoxic anti-cancer agents, the same principle applies. We should use dedicated production areas for these substances unless we have validated inactivation or cleaning procedures in place that ensure safety and cleanliness. Preventing cross-contamination is a key focus here. That means implementing measures to make sure these hazardous materials don't mix with other products or materials during production, handling, or storage. And it's equally important to emphasize that we should not handle, produce, or store highly toxic non-pharmaceutical materials, like herbicides or pesticides, in these pharmaceutical environments. The goal is to maintain a controlled, safe space that minimizes any risk of contamination or exposure. This approach to containment is a fundamental part of good manufacturing practices for active pharmaceutical ingredients, ensuring safety, quality, and compliance throughout the manufacturing process. Now, let's turn our attention to utilities in the context of GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. This slide focuses on part one of this important topic. Utilities are essential supporting services that ensure the manufacturing process runs smoothly and safely. They include things like water, steam, compressed air, and gases. Basically, the infrastructure that keeps the production environment stable and compliant with quality standards. When we talk about GMP for APIs, proper management of utilities is critical. It helps prevent contamination, maintains consistent process conditions, and ensures the final product's quality and safety. In this first part, we'll explore the key aspects of utility systems, how they should be designed, maintained, and monitored to align with GMP principles. Overall, utilities might seem like background support, but they're actually fundamental to achieving manufacturing excellence and regulatory compliance in API production. Let's talk about utilities and their qualification, which is crucial because they can directly impact product quality. Examples include steam, gases, compressed air, and HVAC systems. It's essential to monitor these utilities continuously and have clear actions ready if any are out of specification or out of limits. Having detailed drawings of these utility systems is also important, so everyone understands how they are designed and operated. Adequate ventilation, air filtration, and exhaust systems should be in place wherever necessary to maintain a clean environment. Finally, the design and construction of these utility systems must aim to minimize risks of contamination and cross-contamination. This is all part of ensuring we meet good manufacturing practices for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, which is the overarching theme of this part of the presentation. By paying close attention to these utilities, we help safeguard the quality and integrity of the final product. Let's talk about utilities in the context of GMP for active pharmaceutical ingredients. Controlling air pressure, microorganisms where appropriate, dust, humidity, and temperature is essential to maintaining a clean and controlled environment. These controls are tailored to each stage of the manufacturing process to ensure product quality and safety. It's also crucial to manage the risks of contamination and cross-contamination, especially if air is recirculated within production areas. Proper design and control of airflow help prevent the spread of unwanted contaminants. Identifying permanently installed pipework is another key aspect. This includes clearly marking individual lines, maintaining comprehensive documentation, and utilizing computer control systems to monitor and manage the piping effectively. Proper identification simplifies troubleshooting and ensures that the system remains compliant with GMP standards. The pipework itself should be located strategically to minimize the risk of contaminating intermediate products or active pharmaceutical ingredients. Positioning pipes thoughtfully helps protect product integrity throughout production. Additionally, drains should be of adequate size to handle waste efficiently and should be equipped with air brakes. These air brakes are vital. They prevent backflow and reduce the risk of contamination from external sources entering the manufacturing environment. Overall, these utility controls and infrastructure considerations are fundamental to maintaining a safe, compliant, and efficient manufacturing process for active pharmaceutical ingredients. When we talk about water in pharmaceutical manufacturing, it's critical to demonstrate that the water used is suitable for its intended purpose. This means ensuring that the quality of water meets specific standards, at a minimum, the guidelines set by the World Health Organization for drinking water or potable water. Beyond that, depending on the application, we might need to comply with additional chemical or microbiological specifications. These could include physical and chemical attributes, total microbial counts, or the presence of objectionable organisms and endotoxins. To ensure consistent quality, a validated water treatment process must be in place. This process should include ongoing monitoring of the water, with predefined action limits to trigger corrective actions if necessary. This is all part of good manufacturing practice, or GMP, for active pharmaceutical ingredients, which is essential to maintain product quality and safety. So, in essence, ensuring the water quality aligns with these standards is fundamental to the overall integrity of pharmaceutical production. For further support, please contact us. We're here to help you with any questions or guidance you might need moving forward. Thank you so much for your attention and engagement throughout this presentation. Remember, we're committed to supporting you beyond today's session, so don't hesitate to reach out whenever you need assistance.